Morning, folks. Today's soap is brought to us by Victory Shaving. Name of this one here is Jolly Rogers. This one here has a scent of leather, sage, and lemongrass. And this is what the back of it looks like. This particular tin has 4 ounces of soap, which is filled all the way up to the top. So if you're going to lather or load your brush from the tin, it's going to be a little bit on the messy side. But you can see there what the soap's all about and representation and whatnot. And anyhow, I've got a link down below if you want to take a look at it. It is a really nice scent. Of course, the aftershave that I got is to go with this is something that I thought would play well because I don't have matching aftershave. But this one here is from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, and this is Lime Ice and Sage. And it seems like to me, per my nose, it'll work well. I've got the lather whipped up here. It's relatively wet, moist. That's what it looks like. This is a double duck brush from Heritage Collection. And I've got a link down below to West Coast Shaving where they've got a number of Heritage Collection shaving brushes. But this one here, when I got this one, I ordered it with a nice boar knot. Let's check that out. The nice painter brush. Kind of reminds me of Jim Coe when he used a painter's brush to whip up his lather. I thought that was a pretty cool idea. Definitely an excellent painter's brush. Shaver of the day. We're going to see how this works out for me today. It's been a good long moment since I've had a straight razor shave. This is the Double Duck Pearl Duck Special Number 1. What a name. Usually I think most people just refer to as the Double Duck Special Number 1. This part right through here has been blued, as well as the tang here. But then the rest of this is polished. And this is a I guess you might consider it a full hollow. What it looks like to me, about a 6/8. And this will be the first time go for this one. I have a damp cloth over here that I'm going to be wiping most of the lather off on it, so help keep my sink water fairly clean at least. I already used hot towel to the face, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Preshave Cube. This one here is the holiday scent. Oh, Christmas scent, I'm sorry. Get it straight here in a minute. I had a great shave yesterday with the twig. I think it's going to hit the sweet spot for a number of people. I think it's a pretty nice shaver. Whether you shave them with it every day or whether it's an every other day or something of the sort, it seemed to work just fine with 2 days worth of growth. Kind of think it'll work just fine with 3 days worth of growth also. I can still smell this. This is pretty nice. I think it kind of speaks to Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements' ability to make scents that last. Because this just sits out in the open, sits over here, and I can still smell it. It does smell great. It's not I don't think, at least per my nose, it doesn't interfere with the shaving soap scent or anything like that. It's not quite like, in other words, that strong. But it is subtle enough that you can smell it when you're applying it. And after a while, like right now, my nose is starting to, how you say, not pick it up quite as much. But it does smell great. Maybe some point in time they may make a soap. I don't know that smells just like that. That, for me, that'll work just fine. I'd buy it in a heartbeat. It is a nice scent. Like I say, it works well for my nose. All right, here we go with my painter's brush. It's a nice loft. You won't see very many shaving brushes with a loft like this. Now, I mean, check it out. It's just really easy to use. I like Jim Coe's shaving brush. I mean, his painter's brush. The lather he was working with that was pretty nice. I was watching Tim Scholl's video this morning before I got started, and I've got a link down below. It's just it's a short video, but one of the things that it kind of I guess you might say prompt me to think about just a little bit. The length of this blade versus your typical shavette blade. In other words, because it's a DE blade, typically snapped in half. So you're talking about roughly an inch in length versus a straight razor. And maybe one of the reasons why some folks find it easier to use a blade of this length versus a 1-inch blade in a shavette is because of the length. It doesn't take much, it seems like, with the shavette to get yourself cut, especially if you're getting your angle off or anything quite like that. And with this one here, I think this is the reason why they find this one here more forgiving, is because of the blade length, and because of its length, it is a bit easier to correct your mistake, I guess you might say. I've always wondered why it seemed to be easier to learn how to use one of these versus a shavette. Then it dawned on me that maybe it has more to do with the blade length. That short little blade, it doesn't take much to, I guess you might say, have an accident, where it takes more, because of the blade length, it takes more, I guess you might say, effort to make a mistake. With the short one, it doesn't take much. That is one thing, though. Slickness is king, and you're going to have to focus. It's the reason why sometimes if you notice some of these shaves with a straight razor or a shavette that goes kind of quiet, just because it does take a certain amount of focus to do this without cutting yourself. Now, the folks that do this every day, of course, they're going to be a lot better at it than what I am, because I don't shave with a shavette or a straight razor every day, but I'm somewhat familiar with it. These are fun to shave with, though, in my opinion. Once you start to get the hang of it, where you can relax a little bit, there's nothing like a shavette or a straight razor shave. Once you get done, the sense of accomplishment, it's just a great feeling. Besides a great shave. Amount of stretching will be, how can you say, it's based on the individual's needs. There's not, in my opinion, there's not a surefire way of how much stretching a person needs, because a younger person may not need to stretch quite as much as a person like me that's a little bit older. Skin's a little bit different, in other words, how taut it is. And plus, how you stretch. It's whatever works best for you. That's how I look at it. I tried different ways of stretching, and I got to one point where I felt like overstretching was a problem. Pretty good so far. Edge on this blade is just fantastic. Works well for me. Of course, I think sometimes that's half the battle, is finding somebody that can put an edge on a straight razor that you appreciate, that works well for you, because everybody's taste is different. If you're kind of wondering, if you give it some thought, Jim Coe, when he was using that painter's brush, and the loft on that brush, like the loft on this one here, is so similar, you can understand why he got such a nice lather out of it. I could spend quite a bit of time doing that. It's painting, applying the lather by the way of painting is, I guess you might say for me, is a somewhat more satisfying. Face lathering, for one, depending on what I'm using, has a tendency to irritate my skin, especially on my neck, so I don't find it all that enjoyable. So I have to be kind of careful what I use. But to me, bowl lathering is just watching the lather mature is pretty cool. I was able to find a I had a fine slant razor, the super light one. I guess you might say the first one from Fine. I had picked it, decided I wanted another one, found it on Instagram, one for sale, and I'll have a shave coming up with it because I really do like that one. It's a pretty nice shaver. It's kind of a shame that they don't make it anymore. In a phone call, we kind of mentioned this sort of thing. And for me, it is one of those things that, I guess you might say for me, I like Camisori razors because the handle of these things, some from time to time, seem to get in my way. Even though my Camisori shavers are shavettes, uh, I really need to get, I guess you might say, get in the groove of finding a Camisori straight razor, if you will, that works well for me. Because for me, sometimes I really struggle with the handle. I know most people, after a while, you'll get used to it, but once you use a Camisori razor, it is so, for me, it's just natural, easy to use. My Feather Artist Club one, it's my top one. I really enjoy using it. It's easy to use, for me to use. Yeah, there's no doubt about this. This razor edge is sharp. I can kind of tell sometimes if I get my angle off just a little bit, it kind of gives a little twinge right there. It's like, back up, try again. Yeah, that's another reason why I put a link down below for Tim's videos, because you will go, at least for most of us, that's not exactly an expert at this sort of thing. You do go quiet when you're during the shave, when you're doing your passes, because it does take a certain amount of focus. And it's been so long since I've done a straight razor shave. Length of blade for me makes a world of difference. A little bit shorter would make things a lot easier for me. Kind of like the Camisori style. Usually the blade, the cutting edge is not very long, maybe 2 inches maybe. And to me, with no more area I have to work with right here, that would work better for me, I would think. At least a little bit easier. You can learn how to use a blade like this, with this length over time, but I guess you might say it does change the steep learning curve. Does change that where it's not quite so bad, because it does take a certain amount of focus, and losing your focus is not a good thing with a straight razor or a shavette. I can tell you. Oh, knocked over my container here. Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, alum block. Not too bad. I got some stinging right here, but outside that, everything else is good. Not too bad, since it's been, at least probably what, 2 months since I've had a straight razor shave? Maybe longer? I mean, I've had a shavette shave here recently, but yeah, it's probably been at least 2 months for a straight razor. It's been a moment. Nice blade. I have to say, I really like this one. I know when some of the videos coming out, your top 5 or 7 blades when it comes to straight razor, or whether it was your favorite razors or whatnot. To be honest with you, this one here, without even shaving with it, is, in other words, this is one that it's never going to leave. This blade is really nice. Really nice shave this morning. Some witch hazel that's unscented but mentholated. It is a good looking blade. Great way to start out your week. I don't think, when I was looking, and of course, when you got seasonal scents, sometimes they're not always available on the website, but I don't think this one here is made anymore. I'm pretty sure of it. For me, this the sage, in between the lime and the sage, does a lot for my nose. No, and not everybody appreciates sage, but for me, my nose picks it up really well. And then the lime just kind of takes the edge off the sage, if you will. Nice combination, in my opinion. I think that's where the lemongrass comes in on the soap with the sage leather. Like I say, I think the two of them play well together. I can pick up the lime now. A little bit of the sage as it's drying down. In other words, how you pick up the lime, then eventually it works over to the sage as it dries down. That's always pretty cool when you can pick it up like that. Sometimes my nose, I can't. It's there, and I don't really notice the difference on the dry down. But that's my nose. My nose is not the best in the world. Had a great shave this morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Appreciate everybody stopping by, watching the videos, and commenting. Never imagined my channel going as high as it has been. Really do appreciate it. Stay safe, stay healthy, and smooth shaves to you.